hear your voice, but there ain't no sound. I feel your kiss, oh, but you're not around. I hear your voice, but there ain't no sound. I feel your kiss, oh, but you're not around.
Alrighty, BetterCast Ep.05 with a special guest, Metality, everyone's favorite EU person in Better Academy. Still got Neely, still dragging that dog around, but we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna jump right into the Tier 2 power rankings because it's what everyone wants to see, and I got a little graphic here of the Tier 2 standings so you can take a look at that. All right, Metality, you're the guest of honor. You want to kick us off with your power rankings?
Okay, sure thing. So, at 1, I have Blackout, which is shouldn't be surprising to anyone. 2, No Daylight. 3, I have Blinks. 4, Blueprint. 5, New Future. So I think the 3, 4, 5 is the kind of interesting spots. I have Blinks over Blueprint and New Future just because they beat both of them. So I think you have like the numbers don't really lie. You have to give it to them. But then Blueprint over New Future because Blueprint they've picked up a couple of good signings, and I just think they have the edge over New Future right now. And then 6 and 7. 6 is Fat Shats. 7 is HLA.
All right. The way you say H's
yeah.
is weird. Let's throw it over to Neely for his power rankings.
All right. Well, mine are pretty similar to what they've been. Not a lot of change, but number 1, Blackout, no movement, No Daylight. Same thing at number 2, no movement. Blinks is going to be moving up 1 spot because they took a close 3-2 win over Blueprint Chaos. And then Blueprint's going to move down 1 spot because of that to number 4. New Future at number 5 with no movement. Fat Shats at 6 with no movement. And at 7, HLA with no movement. And the reason why I don't have New Future moving up is just it's power rankings, not rankings. People go, oh, New Future has beat Blueprint, right? But Blueprint has also scrimmed New Future a few times, and it's been a different story.
Oof. Well, my power rankings are the exact same as yours, and I kind of just want to bring up the swing factor from last week because one of these teams, No Daylight, successfully reverse swept New Future. They were down 0-2, and they came all the way back, and that's because they had a swing factor of 90 from last week, okay? We weren't joking around with that. Blueprint had a swing factor of 82 and couldn't quite pull off the reverse sweep. Imagine.
Couldn't quite do it.
All right, so...
Yeah, that was a tough one to cast for them.
Oh, I'm sure it was. That was kind of a heartbreaker. I was really pulling for Blueprint for obvious reasons, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, next thing on the list, we got the scores from our Week 6 games. And I can just list those off for you. So, I already said that Blueprint didn't reverse sweep, but they were close. That means they lost 3-2 to Blinks. Fat Shats picked up their first win of the season against HLA. Neely and I casted that one. It was a lot of fun. And No Daylight pulled off the reverse sweep against New Future, and I believe Kane and Time Bomb casted that one. And yeah, actually a lot of good matchups from that Week 6.
Yeah, I think we predicted that would be one of the best weeks for games of T2, and it definitely didn't disappoint with a 1 reverse sweep, a 1 almost reverse sweep, and then the Fat Shats versus HLA. Wasn't as close as we had hoped, but, you know. Fat Shats got their first win of the season, as far as I know, so that's always good.
Mm-hmm. The only game that I didn't get any eyes on was the Blinks versus Blueprint game. So did one of you watch that? Do you have anything to say about that game?
Yeah, I casted that one actually.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, it started like Blinks looking like they were gonna kind of roll Blueprint, and then just out of nowhere it gets to map 3. Blueprint are like, not today. And they take the 2 maps, and it was getting to almost 4 a.m. for me casting it, and I was like, oh, this is really going as long as it could possibly take. But no, it was a really good match to cast. It was like very close, and then I really thought Blueprint were gonna take it, but Blinks they just got it back together right at the last minute.
I think it's kind of tough to
Who's
like.
that?
Oh, sorry, but I think it's kind of tough to be
Yeah,
like up 2-0 and then lose the next two maps and then like somehow find a way to like rally and like turn into like a winning team on the fifth map again. Like I feel like it's not easy once the reverse sweep kind of commences a little bit.
Especially
Yeah.
with how Blueprint was doing it, because I can't remember if I saw the map before Rialto, but Rialto wasn't even close. Like we had started the reverse sweep and we were locking it in. Like we started we had a completely different, not completely different, but we had a different lineup in from what started. And whatever was happening with this new lineup, which we were just like, oh, this is the Blueprint lineup, and we just started dominating, but we just couldn't quite close out control.
Control is a tough
Yeah.
one. Just kind of moving along here for Tier 2 Week 7. Just the schedule for the upcoming week. We got No Daylight versus Blueprint, and my score prediction for that is No Daylight 4-0's Blueprint.
Oi, oi, oi.
I know.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with that because it's going to be 3-2 Blueprint chaos.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
okay.
it's not quite I'm not quite going with the 4-0, but I mean, hey, you went down 0-2 to New Future, so I'm just gonna take that and say the Blueprint's gonna not let that happen.
All right.
I think it's interesting to sorry for interrupting you there, but I think it's interesting to say that Blueprint versus No Daylight is a must-win game for Blueprint to try and secure a playoff spot. They like have to win that to like definitely, well, maybe not definitely. I haven't looked at the standings. I mean, they're up right now. I could just look at that.
I could. I'm pretty sure Blueprint's actually automatically in. With like the
Blueprint,
blackout
oh, wow.
forfeits from before in the season, kind of gives Blueprint a
Yeah.
15-5 map
Okay.
differential. So even if they lost 0-4, they'd still be at 15-9. And New Future with a bye week is sitting at that fifth spot, 12-12. But there is something actually interesting you
Oh,
could
my
talk
bad.
about with that because the only thing that like we could speculate on with playoffs would be if Fat Shat's 4-0'd Blinks this week. That would have Blinks and New Future be at like a tie for map differential and record, but I know that Blinks won 4-0 against New Future in the regular season, and since you're the Tier 2 commissioner, I didn't know how you wanted to like
Yes,
run
sir.
those tiebreakers.
Okay, well, um, the way I'm gonna wanting to be do this in the case that Fat Shats do 4-0 Blinks, instead of having like another Blinks versus New Future match, sorry, the way this is gonna go is because Blinks did 4-0 New Future early in the season, the fourth spot is gonna go to Blinks in this case. Just yeah, no questions. Just gonna keep it simple. The evidence is there that Blinks like early in the season took them out. So
I think it's a
if
good
that
way
does
of doing
happen,
it too.
Blinks, yeah,
Yeah.
Blinks are gonna be fourth. Future will finish fifth. Blinks will progress to the playoffs.
It's a good way to do the final like tiebreaker because first you look at where are they placed, in the standings, then you go what's the map score when it's close, and then once that's the same, it's like how did it go in the season, and that's just kind of the final tiebreaker. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense because it's hard to schedule like multiple games in a week sometimes, like actual league
Yeah.
matches.
Yeah, if they
Especially
had to do
casters
like
and all that kind
a
of stuff.
play-in game too, it might push playoffs like back a week, and I don't know. I just think we're trying to
Seems
kind of like expedite the playoff process. If it was like, let's say their regular season game was like somehow a tie or I don't know, a closer game that like
Yeah,
it wasn't like such a determining factor, then maybe it would be like a different tie-breaking scenario. But I think going with like the Blinks win in the regular season is like a good way to break this tie. If Fat Shats were to
It was,
4-0 Blinks, which is kind of unlikely. No offense, Fat Shats.
But it's not what I have in my predictions.
Oh,
Hate to say.
with that as well, the Blinks win it's not like it happened right at the start of the season as well. It's like fairly recent, so I think it's an accurate representation. Rather than if it was like a week one game, then maybe I'd look into doing something else. But it happened recently. It was a 4-0. It was convincing Blink's win. So
Hmm.
that is what's gonna happen.
And in that Week 7 game too, I've actually got Blinks winning 3-1 against Fat Chats. I don't know if you guys have any predictions for that
Oh,
one.
same.
Same.
Yeah. When I played Fat Shots for Blackout, they looked really scary on Anubis. So I just think they're gonna have that one map where they can just pop off and take a map. So I agree with a 3-1 Blinks win there.
All right, and then
Yeah, and Fat Chats did pick some people up too, so that kind of we'll see. Maybe
their
maybe they'll
roster
be a
got
different team. Maybe
buffed.
this 4-0 comes through. They did.
Last game for Week 7 is
Anyways.
Blackout versus HLA. I think it's going to be an easy 4-0 for Blackout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun fact. Axe has promised me a DPS spot if we're 3-0 up
Oh,
on fourth map.
wow. Who you going to play?
Um, I don't know yet. Who should I play?
Probably
Who'd you
Genji.
think?
He's a good hero, right?
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
play Genji then. Yeah, okay,
pretty
sure.
good.
Genji it is.
You said you're playing DPS. I think Aris is a good pick too. Or you could go Zarya and just go goats.
Yeah, that's how that works for sure.
It is.
Or
What do we got
or I
next?
can bust out the Torb.
Map pool, right?
Oh. Yeah, map pool.
Okay.
I
Well,
like this one.
map pool. Lijiang Tower. It is a good one. Lijiang Tower, Kings Row, Volskaya, Dorado, Busan. What do you like about it?
I like every single map, probably other than Busan. Like Lijiang, my best control. Kings Row, everyone's favorite map in the goddamn video game. Volskaya, uh, debatably sometimes good. It's 2 CP, so you can get into some of those 2 CP woes, but I still like Dorado. I think in T2 it's a really good Rhine map still, even though I feel like every time I play it, it's double barrier central. And then Dorado, it's a great high ground map. You can see a lot of diva play there. So a good diva team will probably do good on Dorado, maybe a dive team. And then, Busan in the tiebreaker. It's control. Who really cares? Anything can happen.
True.
Yeah, I agree. Kings Row is a fantastic map, and I like Dorado too because, like you said, the dive compositions. We got more chance to see T2 Echoes come out to play.
Mhm.
I just think that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
And like a lot of these games too, I haven't actually seen as much Echo as I thought I would see. She's usually on like one side of the game. Like one team has her, one team's not playing her. I've like kind of expected her to be in every lineup all the time because she's pretty good
Do you
hero.
want to know why I
Why?
predict that? It's because it's not ranked and there isn't a brand new Smurf on the other team every single time playing
Oh,
Echo.
that could
I,
be.
I mean, let's be real. That's a pretty big reason. But no, I mean, yeah, I would have expected that too. She's just so good, just ult economy. Like, I mean, it's such a good ultimate. Like, oh, we have 2 tanks. If the other team's running Orisa, which I don't think many people do, but copy Orisa, people. It's insane. Pole is
So
still a good ability. Supercharger. Guess what? Ryan can't block that. And I hate to say, Echo Earthshatter is the dumbest thing easy to block. The only thing annoying about it is there's 2 Ryan pins now. That's like the power of that. And that is tilting. Anyway, Echo rant.
Echo sidetracked a little bit to just bash on Echo. But yeah, I thought we would see her more. We do kind of see her in like a fair bit of tier 3 games, I feel like.
Yeah,
Um,
people will play her.
that kind of just brings up tier 3. Look at that perfect segue. Tier 3 power
Boom.
rankings. Neely, we're starting with you.
Intentional.
Tier 3 power rankings. All right. I mean, they've asked for it all season. They finally went out and earned it finally. They wanted it after almost losing to Strike, which I thought was pretty ludicrous that they wanted the #1 spot. But they 4-0 Blackout, and SR Goblin is going to move up 1 spot to the #1 spot in the Tier 3 power rankings, followed by Blackwatch moving down a spot for the first time all season. Deathwatch beating Strike, moving up +1 to #3 in the power rankings, and Strike moving.
Oh, Neely cut out.
Oh,
Strike moved down
oops.
somewhere.
And we're back. freaking
Strike moves down where?
one spot to number 4.
Whoa.
And
Whoa.
Alright.
that's
Settle
that's the playoff picture right there. It's Moody's in 5th, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the power rankings are just the standings at this point. It's the end of the season. We kind of know what's up with every team. There hasn't really been anything shady that have like caused forfeits to have like good teams fall down the standing ladder. So I think the standings and the power rankings kind of go 1-1 right now. They're pretty accurate. But
Yeah, mine are exactly the same as the standings.
the tier 3 scores for last week. So Neely, I'm just going to let you talk about the Strike Deathwatch game because I know you would love to talk about it.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to talk about it, but Strike lost 3-1 to Deathwatch. But the big point that I'd like to point out here, Strike has lost a few games, but they have never been 4-0'd. Not once. And
That means
following
we
that
can
was
beat
SR
all of you.
Goblin. Everybody. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a
We've
map.
got it.
Like,
We've got
we
it in
have-
us to beat you.
we have it in us to win a map, which means we could win 3 of them. And then that takes you to SR Goblins beating Blackwatch 4-0. That looks like Blackwatch got what was that? Oh, they didn't win a map? Strike.
Wow.
Never lost a map. Never been 4-0. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean, Strike took 2 off SR Goblins too.
I
Just
know.
saying.
And they wanted the number 1 spot. We're horrendous. Like, how do you let that happen?
Yeah. What
That
I'm
was a
seeing
weird
from-
one to watch.
Oh, that was a yeah.
Sorry.
Cam loves talking
Yeah.
about the last play of that game, but
Yeah.
it seems like tier
No,
3,
it was-
like the
yeah.
teams are a lot closer. Like there hasn't been as many like 4-0s in the season. Like in general, like tier 2 had a lot of 4-0s. Like some weeks, especially, there were like 3 4-0s. Tier 3 just like kind of hasn't been that way. Like even the losing team has like consistently stolen a map. It doesn't really matter who they're playing.
Yeah. And like Strike always scrims Blackwatch. And like we usually play pretty they don't always have like a full lineup in, but we always play pretty close with them, you know? So it's like, you know, we could even though we're one of the lower teams, like we're still like we're worth like their time. Like they know we're gonna get speed boost and throw Orion at them, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we'll be something.
So we've
Zach
kind
will
of
hit
talked
Still
about
competitive.
the tier 3 games. Deathwatch beat Strike. SR Goblins beat Blackwatch. So just kind of moving into like playoff predictions. Round 1 is going to be Strike versus SR Goblins and Blackwatch versus Deathwatch. So what do you have for predictions for the map score for those games?
Well, so you gotta go with the 3-2 fashion. That's what we saw in the regular season. That's probably what we're gonna see in the playoffs. Just a little different because Strike is gonna have that 3 wins instead of SR Goblins having them, which will send us to
I
the
agree.
finals.
I agree. Strike's making the
No
finals with a 3-2 dub.
No bias.
No bias.
None.
I mean,
8-man comp
hate
too
to-
strong.
I hate to kill the optimism here, but I predicted SR Goblins 3-1 win over Strike.
I will remove you from this party and podcast right now.
I mean, I don't hate him
Can't
too much
believe
because
you.
he didn't say 4-0. Because if he had said that, that would have been
Yeah.
True. Nah,
lunacy, 'cause
he understands
I mean,
we
exactly.
win a map. We don't completely suck.
win a
That's
map.
been the thing since week 1 is Strike doesn't completely suck.
but they're pretty okay.
All right, so 2 of us have Strike in the final because 2 of us play for Strike, and the one of us that doesn't play for Strike has SR Goblins in the final. So what about that Blackwatch Deathwatch game? I got Deathwatch taking it 3-2. I'm having Strike Deathwatch in the final dance.
I don't see a singular issue with that, but I do have Blackwatch going to the finals with a 3-1 win over Deathwatch. They're the I don't know, what do you want to call them? The sister team, the father team. They're the team that has always been pushing them down in eternal scrims. I've helped push Deathwatch down in a few internal scrims for Blackwatch.
Blackwatch looks
So,
shaky
I know
right now.
Yeah, they do. They look shaky, but I think part of that is like they don't always have Ventral. If you have Ventral for 4 maps, I'm sorry, he is the best main tank in this league, and I don't think it's even close. He's the hardest opponent I've ever played against on Reinhardt. I mean, he's kind of an animal. So if you just have him out in the front 4 maps, you got a good chance.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And for that, Blackwatch versus SR Goblins. Blackwatch definitely like nowhere near their full roster as well. So maybe it's
Hmm.
not a completely accurate representation.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
was the magic sentence when we were casting that game. Is Blackwatch is not at full strength, and let me tell you that Tony is coming after you in general chat in like T minus 5 minutes for saying it on the podcast.
I
What do we
like
have-
Tony.
Me too, dude. He's a hoot.
Tony's
He's got good
He's
banter,
good.
dude. He's good for the league.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Uh, Playoff map pool, round 1. So I'll just explain this because I got the tier 3 commissioner pants on right now. Map 1,
Ooh.
Lijiang Tower. Map 2, Volskaya. Map 3, Blizzard World, which is the only map in this pool that was not in the regular season. So no tier 3 team has experience on that map. Map 4 is Rialto. Map 5 is Nepal. And here's how we're doing the playoffs, okay? I've put this in like some chats, but if you don't read or you can't read, I'm sorry, but you can listen
Unlucky
to
Neely.
this. So to win a round of playoffs, you must get 3 map wins. You can't do 2 wins, a loss, and a tie. If that happens, okay, so say through 5 maps, it's 2 wins, 1 loss, or no, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie. So you tied 2 CP, you won like both control maps, and you lost Blizzard World and Rialto. So it's 2, 2, and 1 both teams. There's a map 6. It's Gibraltar no matter what. Whoever wins that gets the 3rd map win, they move on. So you need 3 map wins. That's the big takeaway.
Yeah. So you will play control. Like that's like the thing is like if you don't have 3 map wins, you go to map 5. It's not, I like it because it gets away from the set like the 7-game series. Like you have to win 4 maps. Like that's just, I'm sorry, it's just too long. Like Zach's gonna
Yeah.
have to pick up his girlfriend at some point. Like we want everyone to have their full roster. So we just I think Yelk over here made a good decision. I don't remember if it was voted on. I think there was a poll, and I was like 5, absolutely. I don't know what the general.
Yeah, it was like
public
best of
was,
5 or best of 7, but I figure even if you did best of 7, you could run into a scenario where like they might be weirdly tied after 7 maps, So I think the best way of doing it is like best of 5 if it's like best of 5, but you have to get 3.
Yeah,
So first to 3 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if you get
Ties are
3-0,
just
you don't
nothing.
have to play the 4th map. Like if you get 3-0,
Yeah.
the game's done. You can keep playing if you want, and if the game has casters, keep casting if you want. Really doesn't matter, but you don't have to play that 4th map.
Yeah.
What else? I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
For T3 anyway.
Oh
For
my
T3 anyway.
gosh. Tier 1 started.
Woohoo!
That's exciting, I think. Do you guys have power
Yeah,
rankings?
it is.
I know you
I
do.
love T1. Yeah.
Oh, for T1, yeah. Do we want to go with Metality here first?
Sure.
Ooh. Okay, well, the only T1 player in the podcast right now. At number 1, I have Baywatch. At number 2, I have Blueprint Uni. Number 3, Apollo. 4, Zero Gravity. 5, Labyrinth. 6, Sephora. 7, Hurricanes. And then at 8, I have
Hello. On the microphone.
Metality cuts out at number 8. Well, there's only one team left, so if you were listening closely, you know who that team is. But Who's your
my
8th
controller
team?
may or may not have died. 8th is Sentinels.
uh,
But I have some explanations I'd like to say so I don't get roasted
of course.
in a BA Generals chat. So Baywatch is first because I just think they played a harder opponent in Zero Gravity and they looked really, really good. They got a couple of great players. They got Beef, a really good DPS player. I can't
That's a
I can't really
great
think of
name.
anyone else at the top of my head, but yeah. Yeah, Beef iPhone, good player. Breezy, good player. Not Breezy Feather though, unfortunately. Different Breezy. And then Blueprint Uni, I put them underneath Baywatch because they had only a 2-1 win over Hurricanes. Right? I mean, all credit to Hurricanes as well for making it competitive like that. And then
Mhm.
Apollo third, just because I think they're above the other teams. Labyrinth fifth, because they're a bit like kind of shaken up right now, because obviously the whole losing players due to smurfing and whatnot. And then six, I put Sephora because I have a lot of faith in my Orisa pupil Martini being popping off, and to be honest, that's the only reason. And then Sentinels 8, just because I casted one of their games and I witnessed a wrecking ball, but who goes by the name of Neon Y. He spun on the point for the whole time on control, and
All of it.
yeah, I don't know. All of the control map on Lijiang, he spun the whole time as wrecking ball around. It was great to witness, but yeah, I'm gonna just leave Sentinels 8 there and Hurricane 7 because they didn't get 4-0'd.
Okay.
All right.
Oh
Want me to go into
yeah,
mine here?
in depth.
I think we're
Yeah,
going
no,
over to
that's fine.
yours.
I think that's why we had you, Metality, because you said you casted a few of the games and you knew. I think you
Yes,
knew a
sir.
little bit more about the T1 than us. I've seen some of the because everyone knows I'm a Blackwatch fanboy over here, so I know a little bit more about some of the Blackwatch teams, obviously. But other than that, I just know Blueprint and Blackwatch, and I saw us play Heroic Hurricanes. But my T1 power rankings start off with Blueprint Uni at number 1, number 2 Baywatch, Blackwatch team. I don't really have a ton to say on a lot of these teams, but I know they're coached rather well, just like all the Blackwatch teams are. At number 3, Apollo, because they're an org that plays in CGL. I've heard they're pretty decent at some of the tiers. Number 3 to Apollo in T1. Number 4, Sentinels. I've heard they've picked up a few new DPS since playing Blueprint Uni, and they did play a few maps close with them, so I'm putting them right at number 4. Heroic Hurricanes at number 5. They, again, very close with Blueprint, so something that everyone should remember when hearing these. I don't know a whole ton about T1. Don't get your parents in a bunch. You know what I mean? Like, you can prove us wrong immediately. At number 6, Labyrinth. Number 7, Zero G. And at number 8, Sephora. And I have them at the lowest rating just because they were a team of the old Emmett Revo. Emmett Revo and the whole org is kind of dissipated and gone away. I think Sephora lost some of their leadership. We're glad to have them in. And I don't know exactly what they look like now, but again, prove us wrong.
I'm telling you, Martini's gonna do it.
Could do it.
Good.
I'm telling you.
Does that mean it's my turn?
Yeah, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay. These have to be taken with a grain of salt because I basically found out about these 8 teams a little bit ago, and I just kind of mixed them up in my power rankings like a toddler with refrigerator magnets. So at number 1, I got Blueprint Uni because they watch the VODs.
Homer.
And that could be all you need to
Ooh.
do to just win a Tier 1 championship is watch VODs. Number 2, I got Apollo because kind of the same reason as you, came in from CGL. They've got some good teams at good tiers. And I think they're going to have the coaching to at least be in the playoff picture. 3, I have Baywatch. 4, I have Sephora. 5, I have Zero Gravity. 6, Sentinels. 7th, Labyrinth. And 8, I've got the Hurricanes. Again, not a lot of knowledge going behind those picks. Kind of just like had some word tiles in a game of Scrabble, and I'm just making things work here.
Like,
How professional.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it's the
hey,
best I can give you.
that's what week 1 power rankings are for, honestly. You
Yeah,
just chuck a bunch of
21.
things out there. You get the people at the bottom riled up. They're like, we got to prove these guys wrong, and then they start winning, and we go, well, here are the new power rankings.
It should
SR
be known
Goblin's perfect example.
that I have no idea what goes on in the Overwatch League, but I am number 1 in my fantasy Overwatch League, so I can put together some good guesses.
I also tied for first, and I haven't changed my lineup since coronavirus.
I had Corey in after he retired, didn't lose that game.
I like it.
Well,
He's abusing the system.
I sure am.
Oh,
So that kind of wraps up everything we had to say as far as like the leagues go. But if either of you have anything else you want to say Better Academy related, whether it's like casting stuff or content things or whatever you want to say, now's a good time for that.
I know the first thing I want to mention, and I think Metality could speak to this as well, is, T1
Yeah.
players, cast some of your T1 games, like support your community of like your league. It helps out a lot, Yelk and I can't make a lot of those games. We usually make like 1 to 2 games a week max, put on the show or whatever, as you like to say. And we like to do that for like some T3, like we're hoping to do a finals game. We'll probably do some T2 finals stuff. But we can't make all the T1s. I know Metality has said that he can probably do some of the T1s, but there's going to be a lot of teams, a lot of games in these, like when, rounding out, T2 and
Yeah.
kicking off T1. So it's going to be a lot of games. Could use anybody to just fill in those T1 games so that they can be broadcast and whatnot.
Yeah, it'd really help us out as well, considering because sort of at the moment we have maybe 3 or 4 like established pairs of casters, and like you said, we can't get around and do all of T1, all of T2, all of T3, and especially if you're playing in T1, just casting maybe your opposition gives you a bit more insight as well. It's a tactical point of view too.
Get the
Yeah, I
scouting
mean,
report.
Yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
I If you don't think in season 1, Yelk and I casting all of Salty Spittoon's games and realizing, oh, we need to point damage at Primal Beast because he's the carry, helped us reverse sweep them and make playoffs an issue, you'd be wrong. It definitely helped. We knew what they were gonna do, top to bottom, every swap they were gonna do. So, and other than that too, I think a lot of you are probably like, oh, these guys are good casters. They this that. Yeah, I'm nobody. I just started doing it with Yelk. Yelk has a little bit more of a background in this than I do, but you just set up the Twitch on your Xbox. You cast the game with a buddy. Don't talk over each other
Yeah.
too much, and just watch the game. I mean, it's all you really have to do, and it's really fun. I mean, Metality,
It's
can you
so
speak to
fun.
that? I know you've spoken.
Yeah,
You've spoken
it
about
is.
that a few times.
It is so much fun. It's just the buzz of it. Like during the game, after the game, you just get so into it, and it really helped me kind of just be so into BA. Like
Hmm.
I I prefer this league over Overwatch League. I don't even bother with Overwatch League
Right?
anymore.
That's
Yeah,
what happened with me.
it's just
Joining BA.
exactly.
Same thing.
You just get so into it, so I'd really recommend it. And like Neely said, it doesn't take anything. I run like no budget stream. All I do is boot up my Twitch, press the broadcast button, and I just speak. And half the time I don't even broadcast it. Frog does it for me. Thank you, Mr. Frog Champ. And it's just so much fun. But yeah, I definitely need more people to get into it. And I know that some people are, which is good.
And say
'Cause I
like,
know people want to do it.
yeah, say like you want to get into it, but like you don't have a casting duo. Well, there's like a content cave channel in the Better Academy. You can get like the role for it, or you can just have like an admin or officer just like make a post saying that like you want to cast a game and you're looking for like a duo. So anyone else who wants to cast one but doesn't have a duo can like come out of the woodwork and cast with you. Because I mean, it kind of does take at least 2 people to cast. I know Neely did a solo game this
Yeah.
season, live from the bunker,
Yeah,
no daylight versus
it's
blackout.
tough.
It is tough, but yeah, like we can find you a duo if you need a duo. But the best thing to do is like if you've got a friend that you play Overwatch with or
Yeah.
that you talk about Overwatch with, I mean, cast with that person because like you're gonna have just like natural chemistry with like your conversations, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Do you play tank with somebody on your team? Cast with? Do you have any friends on your team that you like play Overwatch? Easy clap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Type Bomb's really good. If you if anyone needs any help getting the role to get into Content Cave, you can just drop me a DM or anything like that. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You go into self roles and you press the little camera icon, and that will give you access to it. Type Bomb's really good at he pings the whole like channel just to let everyone know what games are
I
at
know.
what time and who's casting them. So the opportunity's there. Like you have everything in front of you to be able to do it. So do
Absolutely.
it. It's great. It's so much fun.
last
And I
thing
mean,
that
if it wasn't,
keep on
oh,
going.
sorry, whoa, if it wasn't for casting, I wouldn't be where I am today, and that's facts.
Wow, emotional.
It's very ominous
I
at the
would,
same time too.
I would be a banned Horizon Lunar Colony player, but I'm not. I am here.
Yeah, we're grateful you're not a banned Horizon Lunar Colony player. Okay, last thing that I wanted to say is
I
I
would've liked
gotta
it.
give a shout out to Hurricane because he made these
Yes.
beautiful graphics. And if you're watching the
Yes.
stream, they should be flashing up right now. So like he makes all the graphics for the standings and he puts them on the Better Academy Twitter. And it's like a great thing that he does just like in his volunteer time. Does some stuff on like the Blueprint Chaos Twitter, I know. Does contribute a lot to the Better Academy Twitter, like puts all the graphics you see in the content cave. So shout out Hurricane for making those. Keep on doing a great job. But his job is hard when we don't end weeks on time. And so is our job with like the BetterCast. It's not a job.
Yeah.
Nobody gets paid, let's be honest. But like to keep things going smoothly, like the weeks have to kind of end on schedule. Like we can't have people playing like their week 5 games on a Thursday after everyone finished their week 5 games on like Monday and want to get started their week 6 games on that Thursday. So just kind of going forward, like the new tier 1 that just started, just kind of have like that precedent because, you know, if like the schedule and the standings get all jumbled up because no one's on the same week, then like we can't really do power rankings and all that fun stuff for like tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, whichever one's disorganized. It makes it a little too difficult to keep up
Yeah.
with.
Gets very, very confusing. And I mean, you guys are both officers and I don't have any say here, but you know, I think they do understand, like if the scheduling doesn't work, you know,
Yeah,
just
you
find
just
the
have to
time that
tell
it
us.
works. Just find the day that works. But yeah, start scheduling like your game finishes, because for me, as somebody who schedules, I think you both probably have scheduled a little bit in your time, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like to schedule like, hey, we have a game now, and then start scheduling the next one. The second the game ends, that's when I start putting the pings out. Like, so say we play on Saturday, I'm pinging on Sunday or Monday. Like, what days work? These days work, and maybe you can even play by Wednesday. Maybe, you know, you start talking to the other captain. 'Cause I always feel like if I don't contact a captain, nothing really happens. Now that's not true. Tony got right on me on this last one, and I was very happy with that. And I was like, thank you. I didn't have to be the one reaching out, but. You know, just start reaching out. Like, reach out early. Don't start reaching out on Thursday, because, I mean, that's on you if it doesn't happen on that weekend.
And put your scheduled matches in the captain scheduling chat, please. Thank
Yes.
you very much. Smiley face.
I have required all my other captains to do that for me. I have not participated in that at all.
All right, so I
yeah,
think that kind of covers
that's what I got
all
for
the
that.
bases, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
Alright.
everything.
Do you fine gentlemen have anything you want to plug before we kind of sign off here?
Ooh, me first.
Okay.
At Neely_OW on Twitter. On the Twitch, I just got 52 followers for affiliate, but I do
Hey.
VOD reviews at like 8 or 9 in the morning. I go live on, you know, not every morning, but a lot of them, and that's Cam Neely66 on Twitch. That's about it.
Yeah,
Metality, you
same
got
same
stuff.
plug to me. Yeah, Metality OW on Twitter, and then on Twitch it's the same Metality OW as well. Also, just hit affiliate Pretty Pog. I do a lot of coaching, and then sometimes my casting stuff will be up there too. But I'm mostly coaching every day. Send me those codes. Unless they're DPS ones,
Yes.
I don't want them. I'm bad at DPS.
No Genji codes. 'Cause I will tell you to
No
play
Genji
May.
codes. But
Well,
yeah,
nice.
that's all I got.
I mean, you can send me DPS codes if you want. I'll do them because I do VOD reviews on this Twitch channel, but usually it's just no daylight because those are the only codes I get. But if you've got DPS codes, I'll take them. But my Twitter is the exact same as Twitch, altcharge with a little underscore in between alt and charge. And then, yeah, follow the Twitch channel if you haven't, so you can catch us doing these BetterCasts live if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on Twitch and you're like, YouTube, well, the YouTube is the Better Academy, so that's pretty easy for you to remember. But that is gonna be it for this week. Thank you, Metality, for joining us. Neely, still dragging that dog around. I've been Yelk.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.